Creditor claims.
Yeah.
Right? And tell us a little bit about creditor claims. That's a whole nother one that people are usually very surprised.
Claims, yeah. I mean, the nice thing is, right, like if you have a trust, a lot of times if you call the credit card company and, you know, it's not for a car and it's not a mortgage, right? If it's like unsecured, or if it's like, if it's unsecured or like a medical bill and you're like, oh, the person died. And they say, oh, do they have a probatable estate? No, they don't. I mean, it's not going through probate, right? So you don't have to submit this claim. And basically what a creditor's claim is you submit to the court, you send out a letter to all the potential creditors. So all those bills that keep coming in, medical bills, credit card bills, you send a letter to the credit card company and say, hey, if you want to collect your fee, submit it to the court. And they have a certain amount of time to submit it to the court. If they submit it and there's no reason why it can't be paid, it gets paid. If they don't submit it, then they don't have to worry about it, right? The beneficiaries don't have to pay it. When you have a trust, you don't have that same requirement. Like you have to call them and say, hey, this person passed. There's not a probate that's going to be opened. What do you want us to do? And a lot of times they just kind of clear the debt, right?
Yeah.
Like disclaimer that this is not legal advice, any of that.
We're just having a conversation,
yes. And it's not guaranteed, right? That they're just gonna. So sometimes we're like, okay, well, it needs to be paid, and if they go deeper, which they normally don't because the customer service reps aren't set up that way, or they'll send it to their legal team, but 80% to 90% of the time, it gets just kind of washed, right? Because this is just off topic, but debts typically pass when you pass, as long as it's not community property and it's not secured. So for example, if it's a car payment and you have a car note and you stop paying the car note, they'll come and repossess the car. So if that's the situation, then
that's different.
Yeah, it's different. Same with the mortgage.
Yes, I think it's such a great topic as well because there was a situation in which one of my clients, her husband passed away. So we were selling her condo in San Francisco. They had a reverse mortgage and he had so much debt. So they did file the creditor claim. At the end of probate, she had no money because everyone else was able to collect and she wasn't. So many times I find that that's also another issue that people are not aware of. Yeah. So again, having a trust is so much better. Yeah. Yeah. And the other part too, right, is like I think about like long-term, like for older people, right, who have like long-term care or like bigger medical bills, they can potentially lose or the spouse can lose anything that they would have taken on the family home because there's medical bills that need to be paid. Or if like Medicaid or Medi-Cal, if it's not in a trust, they can come back and say, hey, you owe us money for these services that we basically provided for your spouse. Yeah. And then you have to repay those things back. And so if it's going through probate, Medi-Cal, Medicaid can do essentially a creditor's claim and get all their money back and leaves the family with nothing. But if it's in a trust, they don't recover. Right. And if it's going through probate, anyone could actually create a creditor's claim, right? A cousin that says they were owed money. Yeah. And so obviously, like in that situation, and I say that all the time, right? Like my cousin could come and be like, well, Carmen said she would pay me back $500,000 and create this thing saying, forge my signature, right? Like do all the things and then submit it to the court. And if there's no proof that I never did that we have to get signature experts in, like it can just be more headache and money. Yeah. Then the judge will be like, well, pay it, right? Yeah. If it's a good forgery. The other thing is, people who just want to be jerks, right? And like, say I have a cousin that like I'm beefing with and they don't want to, they can submit a claim just because they feel like it and extend the probate process to be even longer or, for whatever reason. And it just, because it's a public forum, anybody can submit whatever they want, and regardless of the legitimacy, it would then be the judge, which means it's an extra court hearing, which means it's more time for the attorney and more money. I know. It's a lot.